Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Inspired Conversations, Living the Legacy with Legends. I am joined today by another legend. I am actually excited. At the same time, I'm nervous because I am interviewing my mentor, my teacher. Amanda Baloyi, Absheni.
Aye.
Minjani.
Minjani.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations, and thank you very much for honoring the invite.
Thank you for having me.
Who is Amanda Baloyi?
Wow. Who is Amanda Baloyi? What exactly would you like to know? Where do I start?
From the beginning.
Amanda Baloyi was born Amanda Maluleke in Limpopo, in a town called Malamulele. So I was raised there by my parents, went to school that side until I came to Joburg for varsity and ended up getting married this side to Baloyi, hence Amanda Baloyi. So I am a Matsonga girl who loves people, who loves to see people grow, who loves to see people inspired, and who loves to see people waking up in the morning with a purpose. I get to sum it up, that's Amanda Baloyi.
Oh, okay. And I also understand that you are a co-founder of a company called Par Excellence. And what exactly do you do there?
Par Excellence is a coaching and motivational talks company. We also do corporate trainings. So the purpose of Par Excellence is basically, let's see how much potential can we unleash in people. But not only potential that we unleash, but find tools that they themselves can use to motivate themselves. So we believe that, you know what they say, motivation doesn't last, right? So if motivation doesn't last, what do you do to make it last? If it comes internally, it will last. It is external motivation that usually doesn't last. So what Par Excellence does is to bring out from within what you have and let that charge you. So we do talks, we do motivational talks, coaching as well as corporate trainings, where we deal with personal development, we deal with performance at work, we deal with conflict management, we deal with diversity management, but more over and above that, attitude and performance. How can people perform at their peak at any given point, at any given situation, at any given environment? And
you are doing this full time. And I know that you were working at Standard Bank and you actually resigned to focus on the business and also in the ministry. But what inspired you to actually take that decision of being a full-time?
See, I think when your dream is big enough, you will do everything you can to pursue that dream. I was working and I think I was doing all right. But it came to a point where it was either a salary or a dream. I had to focus on one and leave the other. Because when you're working somewhere, there comes a time when you feel like you've learned all that you could learn, you've contributed all that you could contribute in that space, and you'd like to explore other things. And I felt that there was something that I could do outside of my company or outside of that role that I could do better elsewhere, even for the people within that organization. So I was looking at the big picture. Where do I want to be in life? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to see at the end of the day? If you know that question, if you die, what should people say about you? And if we're gonna start from there, it's where I was. If I had died then, I don't think I would have been a very happy dead person. So if there were ghosts, I probably wouldn't be a very happy ghost. But it's to look at what kind of an impact do I want to make? And that's what inspired me. It's the kind of impact that I could envision running my own business. And I felt it would give me a better free way to do that, as opposed to a job description, so to say. Here, I can describe my own job. I can create my own job, and I can impact in the way that I would love to, with no restrictions except the ones I put on myself.
So, but when it comes to a job, many people are actually safer because you know that at the end of the month there is salary that you're gonna get.
True.
So didn't you have a fear maybe of the unknown? How will I live now without a salary?
Of course. It's it's something that I had to consider. I believe that a job is good. It will put bread on the table. You will be able to contribute towards the company and whatever that company stands for. Secondly, not everybody is or should even go into entrepreneurship. Okay. Right? There are people who are very good at being where they are, sort of as a support to whatever the vision of the company is. I mean, if everybody's going to be an entrepreneur, who are we going to hire?
Exactly, that's the question. Yeah.
So it's an issue. So for me, I felt I had done what I could do, but now in living this safe net, and I'm going into this place which has no guarantees. But I looked at two things. One, jobs today are not that guaranteed either. The retrenchments, companies are being threatened by these small startups that are coming up. So there was that particular part. But the most important part was, even if I was in a guaranteed job, the risk of doing something and making it work was more powerful than the stability of a salary. So I looked at the risks. I looked at, what if the business doesn't make money? We run out of our savings, and what's the worst that could happen? All right, they'll probably repossess this and that. They'll take our house maybe. We won't have so much money to live on. We'll probably have to go back to my, to my husband's home.
Yeah.
And then we'll just start over. There. Risk overcome. So I had to think about it like that. So think of the worst case scenario. What's the worst that could happen? You look at that, you accept that this could happen, and you move on. That's what we did. We looked at the worst that could happen. We're not going to die because there's no salary. We're just going to start over. This time, with no pressure of paying bills.
Yeah.
So that's how I at least overcame. Yeah, but at the same time, there's the element of faith. So we were hoping for the best, hoping that it will work out, that God is on our side. However, be prepared even for the worst. Should that not happen, yes, we will believe even when we're in the fire, but we'll believe going forward, knowing that no matter how down we are, we'll rise. There's a point where you are so much low that you can't go any lower. The only way is up.
And now, by the grace of God, you can boldly say you are doing well.
Doing very well. Maybe even better.
Even better. That's a nice one. Now, tell us about Publishing House, Per Excellent Publishing House. Mm-hmm. What are the services that you guys are providing there?
All right. So we are different type of a publishing house. We don't do all-round publishing house. So for instance, you've got a book. We don't take your book, decide what you need to write on the book, and even have rights on your book, which most publishers do. So much that we even go into distribution and selling of the book, and then we only give you a percentage of the sales. We sort of help you publish your book in a way.
Okay.
So you have your book, you bring it to us, we'll help you edit the book, we'll proofread the book for you, and we will help you with a marketing strategy. So we're basically looking at, let me say, self-publishers. So we partner with you. To self-publish your book. That is why we don't have any rights. Once we publish your book, we help you print your book, we give you your copies, we help you with your strategy, and if you need a little more support, we'll offer that. But the selling of the book, the distribution of your book is usually on your side. So we will do the editing, we look at the outline of your book, we look at what are the ideas that you would like to portray, and how well are you doing that, the language, the target market that you're looking at, and the language that you are bringing within the book. Do these two coincide? We look at the contents of your book. Most of the time you find that somebody writes a book, chapter 1, chapter 3, and chapter 5 have got similar ideas, but then chapter 2 has got a whole lot of things that need to be removed and patched into other chapters. So we do a lot of that. So it's just to make sure that we create with you a product that you will be so proud of that when you release it into the market, it is good enough so that should you choose to write another book, people are already waiting for it before you even release it.
That's powerful. And talking about editing, is it a must for someone to edit a book? Is it a must? What is the importance actually of
I would
editing?
say yes. I would say yes. As a writer, number one, you are likely going to see all your errors by yourself. I'm a proofreader myself, but I need somebody to proofread what I've proofread. So after editing and writing and all that, I still need to give it to somebody with a new, fresh eye to read it, who will pick up some of these things that I didn't pick up. So the editing part makes it very important because most of the time when we write out of inspiration, right? So you're sitting down and you're just writing, and whatever is coming into your head, we write and we write. By the end of the book, having to go back and fix all those things, it's usually a lot of people don't do that. But even when they do, that fresh perspective of somebody reading your book as a reader needs to be there. If you're going to create that product, have a consumer look at it from a consumer's perspective and sort of validate it. It gives a lot of weight to your book. So sometimes you don't find yourself trapped in creating something that you love, but nobody else really cares about. So editing gives that opportunity that somebody else can read it, offer some suggestions on how you can portray your ideas so that it's feedback, basically, so that when it goes out there into the market, it's well received.
The case of Bonang Mateba, I mean, we know the story. Her book was hugely criticized. It was actually supposed to be removed from the shelves. Do you think there was a lack of editing and proofreading there?
Possibly. It seemed there were it lacked even proofreading to an extent. There were a lot of grammatical issues
Yes.
going on there. So it's possible that the book was written, and then if it was given to somebody for editing and proofreading, either the person did not do a complete job, they could have been under pressure. Sometimes authors, you put us a lot under pressure. You know, you write and you want your book released tomorrow because you've already set your launch date.
Yeah.
So the editors could have had to just browse through the book and have not picked up all those errors. Or it's possible that that whole process was eliminated altogether. And which, unfortunately, if the book is not properly edited or properly proofread, that is the result.
So, but how does it affect us as South African authors and publishers?
Well, one, look at what it did to her brand. The next time she writes a book, how many people do you think are ready to receive it? So it affects the reputation of the book and of the author. And secondly, the whole, like you're saying, the whole authorship is now questioned, because just because there is no criteria, so to say, for you being an author except that you write, when the value of that which you bring into the market is not good enough, it affects the average of that entire industry. So if we are South Africans and we're going to be proud of our authors and proud of our writers and the literature that we produce, everybody who decides to be in that market must produce excellence. And that is what editing and proofreading is about. That is, in fact, what excellence publishing house is about. Excellence.
No, that's great. And talking about market, you remind me also about Untitled Media, where you guys deal about marketing and advertising. And and I think for every business, marketing and advertising is a core thing. but one will ask, what it takes to market your product very well, and to advertise your product very well. And what is the difference between marketing and advertising?
Okay.
Can you please elaborate?
All right. So with Untitled Media, we looked at a lot of businesses, particularly even in the township. There are businesses that would like to grow, but are not growing so much because they lack that understanding of marketing and advertising. And that is because we think you've got a product, you can just buy something, put it in the warehouse, and somehow it's supposed to sell. But who are you going to sell to if they don't know you? Who is going to buy if they don't even know who you are? And why should they buy from you if they could buy an alternate product? So for instance, you come with a tomato sauce and you want to sell that tomato sauce because it's locally manufactured. Just because you are black and you manufactured it locally is not necessarily good enough for me to buy from you. Why should I buy from you? Before I know you, people buy from brands they know. People buy from people they trust. So there is someone they've seen over and over again, whether it's on TV, they've heard on radio, they've seen billboards, whatever it is, until they become familiar with that person. So that name of the brand is engraved in their subconscious mind, that when they see it in a shop, they feel they already know this thing, and therefore they buy from them. So our approach is, let us try to build the brands. So when we look at marketing and advertising, for instance, marketing is more on understanding your product, understanding who you create that product for, why you create that product for, and where these people are that you're creating your product. It's understanding your product and who you're selling it to, your target market. Advertising then is now communicating that product to then this specific target market. So we create something, we know about what it is, we know what it does, we know its features, we know its benefits, we create all that. Advertising is communicating its benefits to our target market. So
here is a person from township just starting his own business, and you talk about advertising. I mean, when we think about advertising, we think of more money, advertising product on TV, on radio.
Yeah.
So what will that person do if you're just start up an entrepreneur?
All right. Let me start from here. Most startups make the mistake of, when they advertise, they want to say everything all at the same time. So you've got a shop and you're selling cell phones and batteries and accessories and laptops, and you've got USBs and memory sticks and all these things. And from one advert, you want to cover everything in your shop. It doesn't work like that. What do you do when you advertise? There are certain different things that you can look at. One, you are either advertising to create awareness. So you are creating awareness of your brand. You're not necessarily selling anything, but you're simply telling them there is Unkarabile supermarket. It's in whichever mall, it is awareness. You are making people aware so that you can build that consciousness that you are there. Secondly, you can advertise also for sales. So now you want to sell something. But when you want to sell something, either you're going to have something on promotion, or you're just going to pick a few items that might attract a lot more people into your shop. For instance, you've got all that shop, you're selling cell phones and all these things. Oh, it's your supermarket. You've got maize meal, you've got cold drinks, and you've got toiletries and all that. You will take just one toiletry item, one maize meal item, and one margarine, and advertise them at their lowest prices. Those things will then attract a lot more people who will come and not only buy those things that you advertised, but more that they can find in your shop. So the advertising part is to try and find one or two items that would attract a lot more people to come. So it's either brand awareness, it's either sales, or it could even be reputational risks, or so on and so forth. Sometimes somebody said something about your brand and all that, and you just want to correct that, which is more of a public relations issue. We're not going to get into that. But I think most entrepreneurs need to learn to, when they strategize on advertising, why are they advertising? What are you trying to achieve? Because you find that at that moment, you're supposed to advertise for brand awareness. Then you advertise for sales before people even get to understand who you are. And then you don't make sales, and you think your advertising campaign did not produce results because nobody came to buy. So the focus needs to be very specific, and there must be some sort of process to it, particularly for a new business.
I mean, you once said to me, it is not the best author who sells, but it is the best seller author who sells, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So can you elaborate that statement for someone, particularly for someone who's watching,
Yeah.
and he's just a startup entrepreneur, he is just having that vision of becoming a bestseller. He's a musician, he wants to hit gold, he wants to hit platinum. You understand? What can we just say, just elaborate in the statement?
All right. Ultimately, it is the one who knows how to sell who will sell more, not the one who knows how to produce. However, it does not mean we neglect the production or neglect the product. So you and I are going to create beautiful mugs. So I've got a mug, you've got your own mug over there. We've all built this thing in the best way possible. You have 1,000 in your workshop, I have 1,000 in my workshop. The one who's going to get more out is not the one who created necessarily the best mug, because sometimes it's your word against mine. It's the one who knows how to sell it.
Okay.
So when you write a book, you may have the best information in that book, but if you don't know how to sell it, nobody's going to buy it. You're not going to sell that much. So sales becomes then a very imperative thing when your product is involved. Most of the time, we're so good at creating products. We're very good at innovating new things, but getting them out of our place to the customer, that's where the difficulty is.
But how do you know? How will you know how to sell, how to take it out?
Right. You look at the marketing part of things. Who are you selling it to? Where are these people? What are their interests? What motivates them? And how is it that your product solves their problem? Because you see, people are not interested in your product. They're interested in what your product does for them.
Exactly.
So they're not interested in your features. They're interested in the benefits. You look at, I'm going to give you an example. I like examples. I'm sure you've noticed by now. An umbrella. When you look at an umbrella, you can give me the features of your umbrella, which you are selling at Umkarabile supermarket, right? It's got a strong handle. It's got strong seals, and the umbrella part, what do you call this? The sail or something like that, is durable. Those are your features. My question is, so what? Then you come and give me the benefits. The benefits would be, it will not break when there's wind. It will definitely shield you from the sun without bringing heat inside the umbrella. So those are the benefits. That's what a customer is interested in. You come and you sell your book to me. If you're going to tell me about what's in your book, a consumer is not necessarily interested in that because you're simply giving me the features of your product. But tell me what this book will do for me. That's where we need to start. If you can tell me what this book will do for me, and I find that what it will do matches my need, it closes that gap, then I'll definitely buy. So you need to find as many people as possible that have the gap that your product fills. That's where you sell. So sometimes we do not sell because we are in the wrong target market. We're looking at the wrong people. You are telling people that this is what the book will do for them and they don't need that. If it's not a need, they're not going to buy.
So you must first check what they need.
What is it that people need? Close that gap. Find out where are these people that need that. Then find them there.
So how will you know where are those people? Like, how do you...
Research. There are many ways you can do research. The internet has got a lot of information. Going to different people and doing a research. Once you've come up with an idea of a product or even a book, it must have been something that you observed as well. But not only observing, because sometimes observing and behavior are two different things. Sometimes people will lift up their hands when you say, how many people want this? They will lift up their hand. But then when you come with it, then they don't buy anymore. Because whatever it is that we say and somehow how we behave are not always the same. So you find them through research. So if you're going to sell something, have research. We also assist with that, by the way, with Untitled Media, in terms of researching your target market. So this is the product that you have. Where are the people? But obviously we will ask you, why did you create it in the first place if you don't even know where they are? But knowing where they are is just to help you get to them. Today, there are many, many ways to find out where people are and where people love to do, where people, where your target market is and what they enjoy through a lot of tools that technology can offer you. To track people, to track what they like, to track what they don't like, and it gives you feedback as to who's buying, who's not.
Where do we see Untitled Media in the next 5 years? Because you guys are doing a very good job. Where do we see Untitled Media in 5 years?
We are looking into being all over South Africa. So currently we've got screens, so TV screens inside commuter taxis. So the taxis that you see, usually Quantums, that you see taking people from Joburg. Currently it's from Soweto to Joburg and back, and occasionally to Pretoria. So we've got screens there to help businesses meet target markets. So in 5 years, we would like to be national. So we won't grow only beyond Gauteng, but we're looking at maybe 4 or 5 other provinces we must be established, helping businesses from those areas to grow their businesses through marketing, advertising, and sales.
Good job. If people want to get in contact with you, to know more about advertising, about marketing, Untitled Media, par excellence, where do they find you?
All right. I'm going to give you, my number is 072 916 0025. They can find me also our website on www.ntikelomedia, that's N-T-I-K-E-L-O media.co.za. That is for Untitled Media, or my email address, which is amandab@ntikelomedia.co.za. Then on the publishing side, currently we're using Samuel Baloyi's website because he's the main speaker on par excellence, so to say. So sort of like the anchor speaker. So we're using that website. It gives a lot of detail on what par excellence also does. So it would be www.samuelbaloyi.com, and the email address would be office@samuelbaloyi.com.
Your last message for the startup entrepreneurs, particularly those who are watching.
Entrepreneurs, get up and do it. Given the time, given the effort, and don't give up. Not giving up doesn't mean don't change strategies. Sometimes you will try something, it might not work. You don't give up, you find out why it doesn't work. Change the course, create something else. Pivot your business, pivot your product, see what works, see doesn't work. Learn as much as you can, but whatever you do, don't give in the towel, because victory is just around the corner.
Victory is just around the corner. Mrs. Amanda Baloyi, thank you very much for honoring the invite. And I'm looking forward to have you again in our show, to expand the knowledge of advertising and marketing. I think that's what we need, because many businesses today, people are starting, and in 2 years to come, exactly. Yeah. So we need that knowledge, we need that information to be inspired. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. It was great being here.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you were watching Inspired Conversations on Global Conference TV. Let's meet again next week, same place, same time. My name is Unkarabile Mokoto, and I'm saying to you, the journey continues.